Hey, it's Meleah.
And Ashley.
And you're listening to
Just Grow with the Flow.
Welcome.
Okay, so this is episode 1. And we're very excited about it.
Yay.
So, Just Grow with the Flow is a personal development podcast where we share our journeys of personal development, what we've learned, our experiences. And today we're going to start with just like a little relaxed interview of Meleah, and then next week we'll do a little interview of me, Ashley. And then you guys can kind of know who we are and why personal development is such a big part of who we are. So let's just start with why a personal development podcast.
Well, I think, as you know, I was raised one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Did you guys hear that? If you're not already captivated, you can just go away because I was immediately captivated.
So there's been a lot of changes in my life. I have had quite a bit of therapy and just a lot of self-development, and I've learned a lot. So, you know, there's been a lot of changes in relationships with not just family, but, you know, men, and how that's affected me growing up being sexually abused, and just all of the changes, and being a mom, being a wife. I've been married, you've been married. So, you know, we've had our own experiences, but we're also very similar. So I think just, you know, we can relate to a lot of people can relate to us, and talking about how we've grown, you know, we can have fun with it, and also people can hopefully benefit from it too.
Yeah, I love that. It's like we are not the women that we are today without the tools and resources that we've taken advantage of for personal development.
Yeah.
And it's completely changed the trajectory of our lives, and it's so powerful for us to just even be able to share our stories, to hopefully influence even 1 or 2 people.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
So hopefully everybody has fun with it.
Yes, we're hilarious too.
Yeah, she's hilarious. I don't know about me, but she's hilarious.
No, we're hilarious.
Okay.
Okay, let me ask you, what's something like really special about yourself that you think our audience is going to relate to?
Well, speaking personally as just starting out as a mindset coach, I think that I've learned how much I can connect with other people on a deeper level. And so when I meet people and I see something in them, I can really understand them at a deeper level, and people feel kind of safe and understood.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't have relationships that aren't like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the small talk and, you know, the surface level stuff, that's fine if you're just meeting someone for the first time or you're just hanging out for a day or 2, but I can't be around people unless I can really get underneath the surface. So I think that that's the thing about me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it's so true, because when we first met, very quickly it went deep.
Immediately.
Yeah, within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell what we're already here. So tell the podcasters, our pod squad,
our audience.
Yeah. How did we meet? How did this come about?
So I applied for a job through Indeed. Yes.
Sure.
Indeed. And it sounded like this great commission job, sales, and I was like, oh, I've done door-to-door sales. I can do this. And
as a Jehovah's Witness.
As Jehovah's Witness, I was like, at least I'll be getting paid. That sounds like a great job. So I applied, and she interviewed me. And at the interview, you know, she had us sell these windows. And she was like, am I making you nervous? You got to sell this to me. You got, 30 seconds or something. And I was like, I'm good. And she was like, I love you. And then she's like, you're Jehovah's Witness? Shut up.
Yeah, and then I was immediately captivated.
Yeah, she's like, if you can do that, you can do this.
Yeah.
So she hired me on the spot.
Yep.
And I think while she was interviewing everyone, I was like, this girl is chill. This girl is cool. I want to be her friend. And you had all this energy, and you had all this confidence, and you're super funny. And I was like, I want to be friends with her. And then when you pulled me back into the room and you were like, I want to offer you this position, and I actually want you to be lead, you know, eventually, I was like, oh, she sees something in me too. And then I was like, I totally manifested this job. And you were
Yes.
like, oh my God, yes, I totally believe in that. And we were like instant friends.
Yeah, it was
Right?
like manifestation came out of your mouth, and it was like, yes, this can be one of my humans.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I felt it.
Yeah,
Like, I was
we
just
both
like, we
were
were
just
meant
like,
to
whoa.
be friends.
Yeah, I think that, you know, we're very big on manifestation and development and creating the life that you want and dropping our martinis on our face.
I know. It's going to be real.
If you're not watching the video, you have no idea what just happened, but it's fine.
Just wait. It's going to get better.
But you know, for us, it's like that connection was so easy because it was just, we're both people who are really inspired about living a bigger life and manifesting and creating a life worth living.
Right.
And so when you find somebody like that, it's just like an automatic connection.
Yeah.
It's just like you can feel it. That's a person that I want in my life.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's funny because we did our first show, you know, together
Yeah.
at the burlesque show, and I was like, this girl's cool as fuck. Because we got all dressed up and you were so fun that night. And I'm like, okay, I gotta impress my supervisor, I gotta be good. But you were just so fun, and you were still very professional, but very fun. And then we didn't really see each other after that because
Yeah.
we didn't work together because you did shows and I did canvas.
Yep.
And we didn't see each other that much, and then, you know, we ended up hanging out, and it was just like instant
Yeah.
connection.
For sure. Well, I remember that night too. It was so hilarious. I was telling my mom about you, and I was like, "Yeah, this gal that we just hired."
Oh,
is
you
it
didn't
just-
tell me this.
Oh, I said this gal. I said this gal that we just hired. I was like, I was telling her how fantastic you were, but then I also said, "Mom, get this. She was an ex Jehovah Witness. The very first show we put her on, burlesque show."
Right? And I was like, I've never been to one in my life. And I thought, like, it was going to be sexy. You know, it was going to be, like, lingerie.
Did
I
you
was
see
like,
the nipples?
oh, no, I saw the full-on naked guy with a flower on his penis.
Yes!
Or, like, a few flowers on his penis.
Yes.
Big flowers. And I was like, he's all the way naked. But it was so entertaining and
It was
fun. I loved
fantastic.
it. I absolutely loved it. I
Yeah.
had a great time.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
That's true. I forgot we did the burlesque show together, and then really didn't get to see each other for a while.
No, just
But we
training.
but then we just like we were super intentional about connecting afterwards.
Yeah.
And we both made switches in our job, which made it easier for us to like build a really strong relationship without
Right.
having to do like the employer role.
Yeah.
Too, which was
And
really
the first time that we hung out outside of work, it was just like we could not stop talking.
Yeah,
It was
it
so
was
fun.
just forever.
It was like natural, like we've known each other forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Okay.
Tell us about your career.
Okay. The one I'm in right now.
Yeah. Well, the
'Cause
one
I-
that you're building right now.
Because I was saying I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
But okay, so just to go back a little bit,
Yeah.
I started doing a YouTube channel, just trying to tell my story, being one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yep.
And because I was silenced my whole life, I couldn't talk about the things I went through. It was like, no, don't talk about it. God has it. God has it. God has it. And it kind of just like silenced me. And so when I was in my 30s and I had children and they were the ages that I was when I went through abuse, I started realizing how innocent I was and how much guilt and shame I took on. So to make a long story short, because I can ramble, I made a YouTube channel to talk because after leaving Jehovah's Witnesses, I was shunned or disfellowshipped, you know, basically cut off from everyone I knew and loved.
Yeah.
All at once, overnight. And so not being able to explain to my family and my friends why I left because they just don't listen, I felt trapped and I needed to use my voice and share my story, hoping that my family or friends would hear it. That was the main reason I started it, was because I wanted them to hear me. So I told my story of what I went through, and it was extremely healing. But what happened was a surprise because I started having all these people reach out to me and tell me, your story is so similar to mine. Thank you for speaking out. Thank you for sharing. I feel like I can be brave and share. And I was like, wow, I had no idea that so many people had suffered the way that I did and had been through something incredibly similar. And it was like, okay, I'm actually helping other people. I thought I was just doing this for me. And I didn't even really think I'd get very many views. I just thought maybe my family will see it. And even if they didn't, I felt like it's out there. Someone will watch it. Someone will hear me. And I feel better. And so when I started to get a lot of people like started messaging me and like, how did you get to where you can talk about it? And I was like, I honestly felt like I didn't have any other option. It was either gonna like torture me keeping it in, or I could let it out and move forward. And you know, everybody copes differently, deals differently. So to hear that it was helping other people for me to speak was really awesome. So I kept making videos, and then people were like, don't stop making videos. We want to see your growth. We want to hear how you've grown. So I kept making videos, but when I got to where I was currently in my life, I felt like I don't really want to share everything anymore. Because some things are private, and some things I was still figuring out who I was and how I wanted to live my life and how to love myself. And I wasn't in the best relationship at the time. So a lot of my followers were messaging me and asking for help, and I just started really connecting with people and trying to guide them through their journey. And sometimes people reach out and be like, I just left and I don't know how to talk about it. How did you do it? And I would kind of just start coaching them on what I was doing. And so after I got the job with you, I just knew that was pulling at me, that I knew that that's what I need to do. And then going door to door was a little triggering, to be honest. You know, I thought I was like, oh, I can do this. I'm good at it. I'm not nervous. I can handle rejection. I'm getting paid. I thought it would be fine. And then I was like, this is triggering as fuck.
Yeah.
So I stopped loving it. Yeah. And then I noticed my cells were not as good because it was just like, this is not really what I want to do. This is not where I'm supposed to be right now. And now I think that the reason I got the job was to be friends with you and Sabrina, because she's amazing too. So I decided that I wanted to pursue coaching people and helping them because it felt like my purpose. And so that's kind of what I've dived into, and I'm just getting started, but I have clients, and I have, other clients lined up, and I have opportunities just coming at me and doors opening, and so I'm just excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I think is so amazing about you is watching you truly just finding your path and the doors opening for you. I've never experienced like watching another human being where they're so aligned with their journey that it's like the next opportunity it's showing itself for you. This opportunity where you're able to clients are coming to you, and then for God's sake, you just spoke at the White House last weekend. 3 days ago. Sorry, not last weekend. 3 days.
Tuesday.
Yeah. And it's like you're just
in front of, not inside.
In front of the White House.
Yeah.
Still fucking amazing.
It was pretty amazing. And that opportunity I didn't seek out. It just landed in my lap, and I was like, wow, like,
because you are so good at identifying like what needs to happen for you, where you're at. We've talked a lot this last week about like your intuition and listening and feeling your intuition.
This is so new for me though.
Yeah,
like thank you for saying that, because this is not how my life has been.
But it's amazing how it's lining up right now. I think that's the beautiful thing of like when you start to listen, you're a beautiful example of us not listening to our intuition, and how when we don't listen to it, we're really terrible path that it could take us on,
block you from opportunities,
and
that you
how
don't
much
know
it
there.
blocks you.
Yeah.
But then when you choose to, not only choose to, but learn to align with your intuition, how you'll start, like, life just starts moving you on this path. It doesn't mean it's easier. Like, it's still, the work is still hard. It's still hard, but it feels so authentic in your journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my next question is twofold. The first question that I have is, what do you think is, like, when you think about this is going to be a pretty personal question.
Okay, that's fine.
When you think about your personal development journey, what has been the most difficult parts for you? Where have been the biggest hangups?
Learning how to love myself.
Tell me more.
So, growing up in a cult, you're taught to please everyone around you. And when I started to question things, question my beliefs, question the world, I was made to feel that I was weak, or that I was not doing enough spiritually. And so then you get down on yourself. And, going to therapy and learning what boundaries were. I had no idea what boundaries were.
I believe it. You're in a cult. They don't want to teach you what boundaries
No,
are.
they teach you, this is what you think, this is what you believe, and if you don't, then there's something wrong with you. You're not reading the Bible enough, or you're not praying enough, or you're not going in service enough, door to door. So I always felt that way, that I if I was struggling, it was my fault. It was always my fault. And so when I finally was able to leave the toxic environment, and while shunning is bad, shunning is abusive, it is not okay, it did sever completely the toxic environment that I grew up in. And it forced me to be alone. And at the time, I thought it was the worst thing in the world. I thought I couldn't go forward. I thought that I was not loved and alone, and what it made me do was be with myself. And I learned, this is what I help people with now, because I went to such a low place and pulled myself out of it all by myself.
I love that.
I was able to be the parent that I never had, and be the mentor that I never had, and that big sister that I never had. Like, all those things that I needed as a child that people didn't give me, I started to give to myself. And I did get therapy and learned how to use shadow work or inner child work. That changed my life. And that's what I want for other people. I want them to know how powerful inner child work is, and how you can be your own best friend, and you can be your own parent when you weren't parented correctly. And by parent, I don't just mean your parent. I mean anyone, you know the term, it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
So parents can be your teachers, your coaches, your siblings, you know, people that influence you and that you look up to. So by learning how to be that person for that little girl that suffered as a child, that is what changed me the most. And that's the struggle that I had to learn how to change.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, if somebody's listening to this right now and they're going, dang, like I'm relating to this, I'm feeling a lot of connection of, like, as a child I was silenced, or I was quieted, or I wasn't heard, and I feel like I'm still working on loving myself, what would be your one piece, and we'll wrap up with this, what would be your one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who is working towards loving themselves?
It's a lot. To try and keep it simple, I think you have to identify first. I mean, a lot of people need coaching and help with this, but I did.
Yeah.
But I think you have to identify what your inner child is missing. What, if you think about as a child, what your most painful moment was, something's going to stand out to you. That is, a memory is going to pop up of the most painful moment. And that is your emotions telling you that something went wrong and something didn't happen the way it should have. And so what should have happened, or what you should have heard, start there and recreate that memory. And whoever told you something bad or made you feel something bad, even if they didn't tell it to you and you told it to yourself, I wasn't good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm stupid, whatever you said to yourself because of how someone made you feel, you have to change that for yourself. And then think about other moments in your childhood, and think about other things that happened. And it takes practice. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen one time. But something that I love to do is, which I didn't love this at first, but is like hugging myself.
Yes.
And pretending that I'm hugging that little girl and speaking to her in a very loving, kind way, because we can be our own worst critic, and we can be the hardest on ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. I love that. So if they were going to take one tool today, what I'm hearing is go write down that there's this one moment that we all have, that we can think of at least one moment as a child that was triggering for us, that felt unresolved, that felt painful.
Yes.
You may have tons of those, but find a profound moment, change the story.
Yeah. And the younger you can go, the youngest you can go to start. Like, when did you first feel this way? That's where you start. And then you can go further. You know? But wherever it began, we get stuck. Part of us gets stuck, and that inner child doesn't go away until we start. I mean, it's always with us, but it can heal and it can get better. And we still have that inner child, whether it's healed or it isn't healed, but having a healed version is going to make us love ourselves.
Yes, that's beautiful. Okay, where can people find you?
Overcoming religious trauma online. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.
And
TikTok. And
yeah.
TikTok. Or just Meleah Thompson. I'm under both.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Any last words that you want to share?
Just think the best about yourself. Be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself. And wake up in the morning and think about your day's going to be good and why and what you're going to do to make your day great. And I started doing that, and it changes things. It really does.
Love it. Change your perspective, change your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Beautiful. We love you guys. Thank you for listening. We are totally open to hearing what other things you want to hear from us.
Yeah.
So if there's like
we're kind of open books too. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty
I mean,
much.
we have an outline of what we're doing here, but we're not scripted, and so we love to hear like what are some things that you really want to work on, that you want to grow in. We can tell you our experiences of them.
And next time we get to hear all about Ashley.
Yeah, and then we'll talk a little bit about my journey too. And then of course, like, subscribe, and share with your friends.
Yay!
Bye.
Bye.